I've been asked to partake in a most embarrassing moments collab. And um, so it's on a Facebook group that does collab events, and I was asked to do one. So I'm going to share with you a couple of my most embarrassing moments. Um, well, for one, when my kids were small, I managed to get dressed in my clothes, clean clothes from my drawer or on top of my dresser where I put like clean laundry. And I got all dressed and everything and went out in public, went and did my shopping, did appointments and stuff. And I got home at the end of the day. It was an all-day event. I had my kids in the double stroller because they were probably about 2 and 1 or 3 and 2 type thing. Um, I get home and I get to sit down, and I noticed here that my shirt was inside out and backwards because I had the tag here. But apparently, I never really looked in the mirror. I just always brushed my hair, put it in the ponytail, and went. Not only that, my pants, which were probably, I think they were leggings or jogging pants or type, they were inside out and backwards. So not just, but the good thing was I had like a long shirt that was covering where the tag was, so nobody really noticed. Well, okay, if they did notice, nobody said anything. I went to doctor's appointments, I did grocery store, I'd even bumped into friends, and nobody really noticed. So I was like, how many people noticed and didn't say anything to me? Because they were too embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Another thing that I did, well, there's two more things. Once, when I was either I was pregnant or I had just given birth, I went out and did my errands um, by myself with two different shoes on. They were at least both Crocs because I love Crocs because they're easy to just put on, and when you're pregnant or you have swollen feet. One was black and one was beige. They were they're the right feet, but that was, and nobody said anything. I didn't notice until I got home on the couch and I took them off and I looked at my feet. You know. Another embarrassing moment, which has happened to me when my kids were small and I was making breakfast and I put my coffee mug on the stove by where I was making eggs for breakfast. I cracked the egg on the edge of the stove and I put in my coffee instead of the fry pan. And I'm like, ugh. And then the egg started to cook in my hot coffee. I didn't uh, eat it or anything. I had to throw it out and had to make new coffee. But that just proves that like I was tired and not thinking straight, and I needed that coffee. But that's an example I share with my kids all the time of we're all human, we all make mistakes, and they always remind me of that moment because they know how much I love my coffee, and throwing out good coffee is like bad. So that's about. Well, there's also other embarrassing moments when I was a teenager in like grade school, like middle school. Yeah, you know, wearing white jeans. First, that was the fashion. I finally got a pair of white jeans. The first time I wore them, the time of the month came, and I was so embarrassed. At least I caught it before it showed. I just, at the time, I had like, those hoodies, sweatshirts, and I tied it around my waist, and that was like kind of a style anyways. And until I went home, it was at least near the end of the day, and I had at least supplies on me to prevent it to go worse. But it was just so embarrassing, and I never wore those jeans near that, the possibility of that time of the month anyways. I always wore them like shortly after I was finished, so. And I didn't really like white jeans because they kept on getting dirty and stained anyways. So, it was a fad. The things we do for fashion, right? As a teenager. Um, and another most embarrassing moment was when I was in, um, when I was working in retail, and I was uh, working there folding stuff up, and uh, a lady was looking at some baby items, right? And she was, she looked like she was pregnant. And I'm like, oh, you know, are you having a boy or a girl? And she's like, um, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, she was looking at baby items and stuff. And I was like, oh, congratulations. Are you having a boy? She goes, I'm not pregnant. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was so embarrassed. So those are the top ones I can think of most embarrassing moments. I'm sure there's many more. I'm sure I get an embarrassing moment on a at least weekly or monthly basis because that's how it is. Now, I'm going to put the link below to other people who are doing this collab, as well as in the iCard up over above. So maybe you could check out their most embarrassing moments, and hopefully they will make you feel good of your embarrassing moments, because we all have them. And they are funny looking back on it, but while you're in the situation, they're not so funny. But hindsight makes everything looks at least a little bit funny and real. So, there we have it. I hope you guys all have a great day and share the love. And don't forget to look at the other people doing this collab too. Bye, friends.